At 95 years old, Clint Eastwood made a confession that startled those who believed they knew him well. "She was the only one who could do that to me," he said quietly, his voice carrying the weight of nearly a century of triumphs, losses, and memories. Clint Eastwood, born Clinton Eastwood Jr. on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, grew up during the Great Depression. His family moved frequently across California due to his father's work as a steelworker and migrant laborer, instilling in him a resilience, independence, and strong work ethic that would define both his career and his private life. Eastwood's first brush with fame came in the late 1950s, when he landed the role of Rowdy Yates in the hit Western series Rawhide. Running from 1959 to 1965, it brought him national attention, but it was his leap into international stardom, mid-1960s, that secured his place in film history. Teaming with Italian director Sergio Leone, he starred in the groundbreaking Dollars trilogy A Fistful of Dollars 1964, For a Few Dollars More 1965, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly 1966. These spaghetti westerns introduced the world to the mysterious man with no name, a silent, morally complex anti-hero who reshaped the western genre. By the 1970s and 80s, Eastwood was evolving again, this time as a no-nonsense action star with the creation of another iconic character, Dirty Harry Callahan, in Dirty Harry 1971. The film and its sequels embodied a kind of justice unconstrained by red tape, resonating with audiences during a time of rising crime, distrust of authority. Parallel to his acting success, Eastwood began directing, starting with Play Misty. For Me in 1971, his directing career flourished with critically acclaimed films like Unforgiven 1992, which won Oscars for Best Picture and Best Director, Mystic River 2003, $1 Million Baby 2004, and American Sniper 2014. His work brought grit, humanity, and emotional depth to genres ranging from westerns to war dramas. Even outside of film, Eastwood led a dynamic life. He served as mayor of Carmel by the Sea, was an accomplished jazz pianist, a devoted environmental advocate, and the father of 8 children. Through decades of change, he remained relevant, creating films well into his 90s, such as Cry Macho 2021, proof of his undimmed creative spirit. But just as captivating as his career was his personal life, which was filled with romances, public and private, that earned him a reputation as a modern-day Casanova. His relationships spanned decades and included names from across Hollywood and beyond. Anita Loos, Mamie Van Doren, stuntwoman Roxanne Tunis, French star Catherine Deneuve, and celebrated journalist Gail Green, among many others. One of his longest and most public relationships began in 1975 with actress Sondra Locke. She was more than just a co-star in films like The Outlaw Josie Wales, The Gauntlet, and Bronco Billy. She was Eastwood's creative equal and emotional match. Their 13-year relationship was intense, passionate, and often turbulent. Unlike many of Eastwood's past partners, Locke refused to exist in his shadow. Sharp-witted, independent, and strong-minded, she challenged him both artistically and personally. Yet, even as they collaborated on screen, Eastwood was involved with other women, fathering children during their time together, a fact that later ignited legal battles and bitterness. By 1989, their relationship collapsed in a very public and painful breakup. One affair during this period was with flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves, which resulted in 2 children, Scott Eastwood, born in 1986, who would later follow in his father's acting footsteps, and Catherine Eastwood, born in 1988. Another high-profile romance followed with actress Frances Fisher, with whom Eastwood had a daughter, Francesca, in 1993. In 1996, Eastwood married news anchor Dina Ruiz, and the two had a daughter, Morgan. Though their marriage seemed stable, they separated in 2013, finalizing their divorce in 2014. In total, Eastwood is known to have fathered at least 8 children with 6 different women, though rumors suggest there may be more. Despite the complications, he has remained close to many of them, often supporting their careers in the entertainment industry. Still, among all these relationships, one left an enduring wound that never healed. When Eastwood spoke those 9 words, "She was the only one who could do that to me," he was talking about Sondra Locke. The memory was not bitter, but heavy with a quiet ache. Around her, Eastwood was not the indomitable gunslinger or tough cop. He was human, exposed, hesitant, and vulnerable. Locke had a way of disarming him, of pulling something raw and real to the surface. She could stop him with a single look, silence him with a pause, make him second-guess himself in ways no one else could. After their breakup, Eastwood described feeling an emotional paralysis in a life that had always been in motion: sets, premieres, interviews, political duties. Her absence stopped him cold. "She broke something in me," he once admitted, "and I never figured out how to fix it." For a man who had survived Hollywood politics, directed Oscar winners, and lived through wars and cultural revolutions, the idea that he could be undone not by scandal or failure, but by love, was staggering. Now, as he sits in his Caramel estate, surrounded by awards, scripts, and the artifacts of a lifetime in film, his mind sometimes drifts back to Locke, not to the courtroom battles or the tabloid headlines, but to quiet moments between takes. The stolen glances, shared laughter, the subtle way she changed the air in a room. These are the memories he keeps tucked away, like an old photograph in the pocket of his heart, worn around the edges, but never thrown away. For Clint Eastwood, who has faced down outlaws, crime lords, and critics alike, the most uncheckable mark was left not by the roles he played or the films he made, but by a woman who refused to be tamed. And even at 95, her shadow still falls across his story.